Hello and welcome to Christopher Neal Photography. In this video I'm going to go over the addition that I've made to my workflow of DxO's Pure Raw 5. I want to point out that this is not a paid promotion. DxO, however, did provide me with a copy of Pure Raw 5. They reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to take a look at Nik Collection and Pure Raw 5. Since I already used Nik Collection, I said sure. And over the past couple of months, I've been evaluating Pure Raw 5. I've added it to my workflow is the first thing that I will do to my images. Now what Pure Raw 5 does is it will prepare your raw files by applying lens correction, noise reduction, and some color correction. And I found that this is particularly useful when you're processing single images. Occasionally I will fire off a single image instead of a usual stack and end up with an image that I feel like I can't do that much with because it's just a single and I wasn't able to run the noise reduction through stacking. However, by running Pure Raw 5 I can introduce a considerable amount of noise reduction and correction to it. It also got me thinking as to what exactly I could come up with if I used it not only on the single images, but added it to my stacking preparation. So now images that are going to be stacked are treated with Pure Raw 5, so I get a couple of runs at doing some noise reduction. And the results that I've gotten have been pretty remarkable, especially with lenses on the lower end. I think it has a tremendous effect. I can see that it's doing stuff with my Sigma lenses, but it doesn't seem to do quite as much as it does with my IREX Firefly. I'm going to show you real quick how I've added it to my workflow. And this is a stack. This is a stack of 18 images that I shot back in the 1st of March out at Pawleys Island. This was shot with my IREX Firefly 15mm. The way that you're going to apply DxO's Pure Raw 5 is select the images that you want. This can be time consuming, so I'm only going to select about 3 of them. I've already run this one time, but we're going to go into export and preview and process with Pure Raw 5. It's going to launch Pure Raw 5. And it's got the 3 photos that I've selected, and it's got a neat slider to show you, give you a visual of what changes that it's making. And I can also go down to a more granular level, and you can see the change that it's making. In my Astro images, I am typically using Deep Prime 3 or Deep Prime XD2S, and I'm doing some luminance noise reduction. And what I've found is when I force too much detail, it can start to have these tailing effects and looks a little weird. So I have tended to drop this down a bit. It smooths the image out, and that's what we end up with. So you can see it's doing a considerable amount of noise reduction, and lens optimization is standard. It has the ability to do some masking and just apply the filters to specific parts of the image, but I'm not really worried about that right now. And then export, we can export it as DNGs, TIFFs, or JPEGs, and this is some file treatment. We can put it in the same files or put it in separate files. I have it set to as basic naming. It's going to pretty much just append the file as Pure Raw 5. It's going to go in the original image folder. Now we have these 3 images. We're going to compare 2 of these images. You can see it's done a considerable amount of cleaning up, especially down here. It's also brought the light up just a little bit in these. Now I've got a set of images set for stacking, but I'm not going to go through that process here. That can take quite a bit of time, and I've got some other videos. If you want to see my stacking process, you can check those out here. I'll go ahead and link one up top. However, what I am going to show you is I have compared what DxO Pure Raw 5 can do to what you could do similarly with Adobe Lightroom and Camera Raw. So I've got a couple of images here that have been stacked and then run some additional edits on them, and we're going to take a look at those here side by side. So this image on the left, I have done some similar edits in Adobe Lightroom and then stacked, and the image on the right, I've run I've run DxO Pure Raw 5 and then done Astro edits. So you can see a fairly similar result. So I'm not here to say DxO Pure Raw 5 is the end all be all. You got to use it. That's the only thing you can do to get these results. You can get similar results in Adobe Lightroom or Camera Raw. However, for me personally, I tend to prefer running DxO's Pure Raw 5 because it's a one-shot deal. I can run that one piece of software and it will go in and make some necessary corrections, and then I can start doing my edits in Adobe Lightroom or Camera Raw without having to go through and do separate noise reduction in Adobe Lightroom, lens correction, as well as some color correction. And I have found that running a lens correction in Adobe Lightroom versus DxO's Pure Raw 5, I'm not quite as happy with the results. The vignetting correction in Adobe is a bit overblown in my opinion. So when I run the lens correction in Adobe, I then have to go in and take out some of the vignetting, as opposed to DxO's Pure Raw 5 seems to get it right in the first place. So whether you are editing single images or preparing your images for stacks, I can highly recommend DxO's Pure Raw 5 to get great, relatively low noise images out of your landscape astrophotography. That's it for now. I hope this video helped. As always, please like and subscribe. It helps me continue to put these videos out. If there's anything that you would like to see me go over, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, get out there and capture some magic. Thanks for watching.